we are.
Okay.
All right, so it looks like we're all here. I am pleased to call this meeting to order. This is the first time we have had a community advisory council meeting with 4 members present, and I think the most appropriate thing to do right now is open up with where did she, oh, there she is. Okay, Ms. Knox, and the names keep moving around, so
Okay.
it's like one of those puzzles where you move the squares around and try to spell. Okay, but yes, I see you. Okay, so it looks like we're for dinner here, but the camera angle.
Okay.
Okay, Knox, and I assume Kalina is a name you go by in addition to Karen, right?
Yes, it is, and I didn't know that came up. Yeah, that's a different. Yeah, it is a name I go to. Addition. It's the same name. It's just it's Karen in Hawaii, so it's the same name.
So you're the newest addition to the Community Advisory Council. Will you please introduce yourself to the members, myself, Gregory Creswell, Washington Houston, as well as the members of the community that have joined us at this meeting.
Okay, hi, my name is Karen Knox. I'm the president of Eden Gardens Community Association. We're located on the east side of Detroit, 6 blocks north of Detroit City Airport and 2 blocks west of Detroit City Airport. I'm sorry, someone tried to call.
Okay.
Yes, so
Okay.
I'm glad to be here.
Okay. And maybe I also just want to bring up, so you were appointed by Council Member Andre Spivey. And also
Yes.
when I looked at your email address, I looked up a project that you're closely involved with. Maybe you could tell us a little about that.
Okay, well, we have done quite a bit in the 10 years that since we formed. We have a pocket park, a playground, a small orchard, a garden in the community. We're currently rehabbing the house to become a community center. So it's a 2-family flat, and the upstairs will be dedicated to children, and downstairs will be for returning citizens and young teenager in the basement, which will be like a recreation center. And so we're really trying to do things to help all groups and ages to feel welcome in our community. And any ethnic group, any religion will find that Eden Garden is a very diverse place and welcoming. So this community center is.
You froze up. Okay, you're just starting to mention this community center and it paused. Okay, well, that's okay. You know, I know sometimes we have connection issues, and just hang in there. If you get lost, call us back. Okay, you see your name on there. I just don't get video.
Oh, I cut the video off. Said it froze. I cut the video off when you said it froze. So
okay.
I'm just saying that we yeah, when you said it froze, I cut the video off. But the thing is, we're trying to make this community where it embraces every age group, every ethnic group, every religion, and no matter what your background is, to try to help you if you come out of prison and back to our community, because many of people were incarcerated, previous incarcerated people come back to the community. But we want to be able to get them jobs and get them involved in the community so they'll be more helping the community than hindering the community. And we are doing our best to change the mindset in our community, to stop the tearing of the houses, burning down the houses, and just change the mindset of people in Detroit. So it's a challenge, but it's a slow ball. So pushing the elephant up this hill on roller skates, but we're getting there. So this community house is very important to the community.
Oh, thank you. So now we're like called it to order, and we're doing that. And also, is there a representative here, a separate, not a member of the C.A.C, but a representative of Andre Spivey's office in attendance? The only reason I ask that is based upon the charter they're supposed to be. But it's not, I mean, it doesn't prevent us from meeting. It's something that the council member himself is supposed to pursue. So usually either himself or a representative of the office should be here. And that's just one thing I'm asking about. But if there isn't, we can move on, just asking. Okay, I'm gonna pull up the agenda here, and I do a lot of screen sharing here. I'm gonna try to go fast because we have a lot on here, but I just want to make sure we do things in a expedient manner. I'd like to get this meeting wrapped up, at least the before community comments part wrapped up by 8:30. And actually before that, maybe by, if we could try to even, I'll try to even push it up to 8:25. Just because I know some people have to go sooner. And let me just get this screen sharing thing going here then. That looks like it. Actually, I'm gonna go. It's really something I'm gonna do instead of what I was starting to do. That's not what I was starting to do. Pardon me, Royce. Okay. And looks like I was trying to do. Okay. Here we are. So there it is anyway. So the first part is just for, you know, when I was sending things out for people to look at. Obviously, you know how to get on the meeting if you're on the meeting. Scrolling on down here, then we did the call to order, introduction of our appointee, and I was going to see if the council member had sent us a representative of his office, and had not. An elected official, I just kind of put that on there. It's pretty standard at meetings for people to do that. Okay. By the way, I did get questions sent to me about the youth and senior representative appointment process. And the council has a decent amount of time before, I guess I think they might even have like up to 30 days or something. But on the other hand, they should be coming up with someone within about a week, because the senior and youth members can be seated as early as the 15th of the month. So, but it's not right now, that's out of my hands. And yeah, I didn't expect them to have a decision as soon as today. So it'll probably be, and while it says the council approves the appointment, it'll probably be Councilmember Spivey's choice. I don't see why anyone else would on the council would really try to intervene on that decision. Okay, so that gets to agenda. And by the way, the Roman numeral portion of the agenda, of course, we add in specific things based on meetings, but the Roman numeral portion, the main headings of the agenda are locked in because it's part of the city code. And that's why I mentioned that here, formatted by 14-9-26. So that's part of the city code. So henceforth, our meetings will at least have the course outline, if you will, is going to be like this. And then the specific items that are listed underneath, of course, will depend on what's happening at that day. So that being said, would any of the four members, and those four members then being now, do you prefer being called Kalina or Karen?
Call me Karen, please.
Okay. Okay, so we got Karen and Gregory and Washington and myself being the, I suppose I should be more formal, council member. Okay. Are then the people who right now have the floor on any modifications on the agenda. So I'll let others speak, and I'll see if there's anything I want to do at the end after that. Karen, anything you wanted to modify?
You say, is there anything I want to modify? No.
Okay. Gregory? C.A.C. member Creswell?
No, everything is fine by me.
Okay. C.A.C. member Washington Houston?
No, everything's fine by me too, as well.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Now, one thing I'm going to do is really just remove something that I think is moot at this point, which was we had a resolution that I don't even really see any reason in revisiting it, just because it was something based upon not having someone present as a vote on proposed resolutions, if any, and there just aren't any. And the same on, so item D, and I just realized I thought I could edit this with this word processor, but because of the two computers I move things between, I can't. This is kind of awkward. I think what I'm going to do, let me just, you're watching me do a little sleight of hand here with this agenda, but apparently one format, it won't let me edit, but I think it'll let me edit the next one. Trying to view this wider. Okay, well, something like that. I'll make this larger so it's easier for everyone to see.
Errors to rewording a phrase for an easier read. Grammarly lets you know.
Okay. So what I got here is I'm just going to remove then item D here because there are no resolutions. Let's see if it'll let me edit it now. It does. And also then the proposed resolutions, item B on section 4 here, I'm removing as well. I don't think we need that. Okay. So,
Excuse me, Scotty, could you please scroll so I can see the agenda as to what you're trying to remove, so I can
yeah,
write it down.
all I did is remove the fact, since we had no resolutions, I removed them. Can you see it now? I'll read it out loud because I just realized Mr. Member Newsom may not be able to see this. So what I have right now is call to order. We just did introduction of point E. We just did introduction of council representative, and there isn't one. Introduction of guest elected officials. No one identified as that. We're on adoption of agenda. And then after that, we have approval of the minutes. And we have presentations, hearings, and discussions, which in this case is just going to be, mainly unfinished business. I did have a thing on here where members and council representatives are encouraged to request to have presentations placed on the agenda in advance. So in the future, we got some time before the next meeting. There may be someone wanting to do that. The unfinished business involves election of a vice chair. There's 4 offices listed in the city code and in the charter, and we were only able to fill 3 of them because there are only 3 of us. Now there's 4 of us. So I'm going to kind of move back into that. New business, current community concerns, plans of action. So at that point, I'll maybe have people take turns and bring up some issues. That'll be apart from citizen comments. So that should be fairly brief just to identify what they are. Financial account, that's something if we have time to discuss, it's something in the long run an organization should have, and maybe we can kind of talk about some of the nuts and bolts of that when we get there. Next meeting format and location format. In other words, is it going to be virtual like this, or are we going to meet in a physical place? Do we know? We may not know yet. Public comment. So I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
I make a motion, Greg Cresswell,
there a
to
motion?
approve the amendment. I'm sorry,
Okay, is there a second?
To approve the agenda, sorry.
Okay, I heard you that way. What you just said the second time is what I thought you said, to approve the agenda. Is there a second on that?
I Washington Usan seconded.
Okay. So C.A.C. member Washington Usan has seconded this, and we guess we could just go right to a vote if there's no objections. All in favor of adoption of the agenda indicate by saying aye.
Aye, Greg Cresswell.
Any opposed? Passes unanimously. Or if I said that right. Okay, minutes. And now I'm going to put this on the screen, and then Gregory, you can discuss it. I'm going to just kind of use my screen sharing talents yet again. Let me see if I can switch over to different documents from here. If it's still sharing. Try it. Looks like it is. Everyone see that I've switched documents?
Oh, boy.
I'll make this a little bigger.
I'm still seeing the agenda.
So
okay.
am I.
I need to stop sharing and reshare it then. Okay, I know what I have to do then. Yeah, still playing with this. So I'm going to stop sharing. So right now we all see each other, which is very nice. And Letitia was asking me to scroll down on the agenda. I will be going back to that. Is that okay, Letitia? Okay. She's still muted. I don't know. I don't have to unmute it. No, because everyone called in the same way. So the muting is by choice. Oh, she answered me. Okay, she responded. Good. Okay, so I'm just going to get right in here.
Excuse me, Scotty.
Yes.
Was it Miss Knox who also voted yay to accept the agenda?
Yes.
Yes, all four of us.
Okay, thank you.
I'm sorry, I should let the council member speak for herself.
I'm doing the best I can to take minutes. Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Okay. I'm going to see if I get this working now. All right. This should be, ooh, I think I'm accidentally sharing the wrong thing again. Let me go back and stop sharing again. It was sharing like some little cut and paste thing I had here. I'm going to try this again. This is what I'm trying to do. Let me try this again. Do it one more time. Get it to work right this time. Okay, let's try it again. There, that's what I try to do. Okay, does everyone see a different document on the screen than we had earlier?
Yes, I do now.
Same here.
Okay, I'm gonna put the word minutes up here just so it's there. Okay, so what we have here, Gregory, you want to start reviewing this, and I'll scroll along as you do that.
Scotty, can you make the font larger?
Sure. I'll just do a little more scrolling. Okay. Gregory.
Okay, I'm ready. All right, I'll start with Start with the adoption of the agenda was made by myself and was seconded by Scotty. The adoption of the minutes was from the January 29th meeting. Okay, Ms. Donna McDuffie asked to have her name removed from the senior rep nomination list, and it was. Scotty was reading of the resolution for now titled No Appointee, which will be inserted into the meeting minutes. Catherine wanted a rewording of the resolution titled No Appointee, wanted the word single removed and to replace it with not attended a meeting. Regina Ross of the C.A.C. District 7 was introduced, and the official vote was conducted by all of the present elected members of the D4 officers. Scotty, myself, Mr. Washington, all were voted in by the body. Catherine recognized and introduced the neighborhood group, the East Canfield Village, and wanted to make public of its existence by its proper name. And Paul asked, are the meetings being recorded? Of course, the answer is yes. The establishment of a monthly meeting was recognized by law, city charter. There will be 4 meetings per year. The next meeting is set for today at 7 p.m. A motion was made to adjourn at 7:42 and was seconded by Scotty. And the vote was made to adjourn by majority.
Okay, and just to clarify again, what happened is we had I don't want to revisit the whole thing, but I mean, anyone who wants to catch up with me about it, I can tell them more, but we had a resolution based on the lack of an appointee, and now we have an appointee. So as soon as I was about to send out the resolution, I found out we had an appointee, at which point I decided not to do it because it became irrelevant, unnecessary, and there was no, we'd be complaining about something for which there was no cause to complain. And so at that point, that matter rested. But so that's what that part's about. Now, I don't have any problem with the thing. Council Community Advisory Council member Houston. Okay. Not sure if you heard that.
I did not hear what Washington said.
I didn't hear him either. He's muted. Washington, you are muted. I don't know if you know you're muted. *6 mutes and unmutes you.
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah, I just want to say, did you have any anything you wanted to change in the minutes?
No.
Okay. I know you weren't here, but Ms. Knox, did you have anything to say about the minutes?
No.
Okay. All right, then I move that we accept the minutes as read.
I second it.
Your second? Okay. All in favor of accepting the minutes as read, indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Greg Cresswell.
Opposed? No opposed. I just scrolling this up a little because some people may not be able to see the bottom of the screen as well. Okay, I see a hand. Let me see. Wait, hold on. I gotta investigate this hand. If I get this.
Scotty?
I'm trying to actually. I have to stop sharing. Now I can see. Oh yes, Ms. Butler.
Yes, Scotty. Is this the same meeting where the young teenager was appointed? That's not in the minutes if this is the same meeting.
there was an earlier one, and the way it works, and you were probably then at the first meeting that we actually had. We've actually had a few meetings now. I think this is number 5. But it's the first one where we actually have a quorum. We appointed Ezra Keelan, who's here, but we found out they were supposed to take additional recommendations and forward the list. And some people from the law department went over it with me, and it seems like indeed that is what we're supposed to do. So, well, actually not just with me, but I know Gregory, I think Washington was in on part of the discussion also. So,
Okay, my question is, was this not the meeting where that was discussed?
it was not.
Okay, that's all.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we actually have now 2 people that are on a list now of possible youth members. Only one can actually be that person. So at this point, we don't know who the youth member is going to be. The same with the seniors issue representative. Actually, not the same. We have more. I think I don't have it right in front of me, but there's 6 or 7 names on that list. So there's a lot of possibilities as far as what actually ends up happening with those appointments. But there was clarification that we couldn't just go ahead and pick one of each and say, here's the list. That we needed to solicit more people to be added to it, which we have done, and forwarded the list really at the very last minute. I mean, quite literally at the last minute. I clicked send, I think, at 1 minute too. But of course, they said they would accept the list the next day, but I wanted to make sure I sent it on the 31st. So, Ms. Butler, did you mean to leave your hand up longer?
No, I'll take it down now. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so just going ahead, then we have, and I'm going to actually reshare now to the agenda. And okay, playing with my screen sharing tools here. Back to that. This one. Oh, you know what? This is the one I couldn't edit though. So I'm going to stop sharing. It's not the one I meant. Got all these documents sitting around on here now. There's this one, I think. Yeah, that's the one. Okay, so that takes us down to this thing where it says, sounds a lot bigger than what we actually are doing right now, but presentations, hearings, and discussions. And I think what I will do, because this would involve something pre-scheduled, but I just kind of put it in there as a placeholder, but also to alert people. You know, if there's going to be a presentation, we need to have some prior arrangement. There will be a part to bring up community concerns under new business. That takes us directly on to item 5 or section 5, unfinished business, election of vice chair and other votes if needed. And that's because we might end up having to play a kind of a rearrangement thing. And it's because we now have 4 members, so everybody can hold an office. Now, one thing that comes up in that regard is the role of those offices. And the office of vice chair, while it would be simple for us to just keep our offices and go ahead and make a motion to nominate C.A.C. member Knox, the issue is that the purpose of the vice chair, well, one role she could fill, which would be to act as chair in the chair's absence. The other one, though, is if the chair were to somehow become disqualified, unavailable, no longer in the position of chair, then the vice chair would replace the chair. But the charter says that the chair of the C.A.C. may not be an appointee, which would then make the vice chair ineligible to serve as chair. Now, I suppose one could get into complicated arguments that then it would default to the secretary, but it just seems a little odd. So that's the only thing that kind of make, if it still ends up that way, it's fine, but it's bringing it up as something that may be problematic if we all keep the same offices and Ms. Knox becomes vice chair. Again, I don't personally, as far as me remaining chair, I have no problem, being here for my intent is to be doing this until January 1st of 2022, at which point that term ends and the new people take office and so on. But that being said, now I'm going to put the question out here because it's a little irregular. Is there any of the elected members, and that then being C.A.C. member Creswell and C.A.C. member Houston, would either of you rather be vice chair than what you are right now?
Well, from my point of view, if I could convince Ms. Knox to be the secretary based on her skills to take notes, I would move up to vice chair. But if she's not comfortable being secretary, then I'll stay where I am.
No.
Okay, all right.
That? Washington?
I'm fine with being treasurer.
Well, since it's the crisis, if you will, I would say constitutional crisis, but it's not really constitutional. The charter crisis that I described would only happen if I were to leave office. And so in the absence of that, I guess we have 4 C.A.C. members and there's 4 offices to fill. So on that note, then I nominate Karen Knox for vice chair.
Let me ask you, what would that position consist of?
You would be the person to sit in for me if I couldn't make a meeting.
Okay. And what else?
Well, and the other thing is, as I mentioned, if for some reason, and here's at this point, I might have to do some scrambling around, because at some point I actually ceased to, I don't know if I died, moved, or was, I don't know, disqualified for high crime misdemeanors, that you would ascend into my place. But the problem is you can't because you're not elected. So
Okay.
So that's just an if. And as long as that doesn't happen, then I suppose there's not a problem.
Yes, because I'm rehabbing this house and trying to get this center together, and I'm president of Bagala Club, and I sit on another board, and I said 2 more boards, so I don't want to overwhelm myself. So that's the reason I asked exactly what it consists of. If it's not a lot of work involved, I can accept a nomination.
And I'll do my best to make sure you have very little work to do, because I'm going to try to make every single meeting, and definitely want to avoid dying or disqualifying myself. And I have no intent on moving.
Okay. Yes. Okay. So, well, I can accept being nominated for that. So it's whether, from here, whether they accept me in the position.
Okay. So you accept?
I second the nomination.
Okay, Scotty, I do want to make sure that we're not violating any city charter, any law or whatever. I just want to make sure that we're covering ourselves.
Well, the charter, see, and this is the thing, nothing says that an appointee can't be vice chair. It just says can't be chair.
Okay, that's all I want to make sure. Okay, all right. So I second that
an appointee can't have as chair.
Gotcha. Okay.
Okay. So,
So,
Washington, are
so
you seconding
six,
that nomination?
I second it.
Okay.
I just want to make sure I heard C.A.C. member Washington Houston.
Yes, I seconded it.
Okay. So if there are no objections, I think we should just move straight on to a vote. Okay, straight on to the vote. All those, and by the way, I just realized earlier we did that I thing. I just remembered under the executive order concerning public meetings, virtual public meetings, that they all need to be roll call votes. And so actually, while we ultimately confirmed that all four of us voted the same way, we need to actually conduct it that way. So I am going to say I, Scotty Boman, vote in favor of Karen Knox for vice chair.
I, Gregory Creswell, concur.
Two more votes.
I, Washington Houston, also vote yes.
And finally, Karen Knox.
Yes, I guess. I'm voting for myself.
Enthusiastic acceptance.
Yeah.
Okay. Now there's one other piece of this process, and this is like the it goes under what I was saying about additional votes if needed. Because we did not have a quorum at the last meeting, it is necessary to have a vote of the quorum regarding the offices now currently held. And so those offices meaning myself as chair, Gregory Creswell as secretary, and Washington Houston as treasurer. So now for the four of us to make a vote on that, is there any objection to moving forward with a vote on affirming those offices being how they are?
No.
Okay, so we can make it an up or down vote, but it needs to be roll call vote again. So I, Scotty Boman, vote in favor of myself being chair, Gregory Creswell being secretary, and Washington Houston being treasurer. Next.
I, Washington Houston, vote in favor of those same nominations.
I, Gregory Creswell, confirm.
I
And
confirm.
okay, so we got all four, and it is a quorum. So now we really do have these offices instead of all this tentative office, blah blah blah. Now guess what? As of now, all four of us are locked into these offices, and except for impending disasters that I may have mentioned, until January 1st of 2022, and that in 11:59 a.m. at noon, the
I
new
was told
people
December, but
those roles
okay.
or will step into office and make choices at that point. Okay.
Okay.
I'm going to reshare, go back to our friendly little agenda thing here. Find it. Have fun doing this. I think it was this one. No. Trying to find my document sharing tool. Okay. So we have now moved down to new business. And so I'd be interested if maybe just can hear some community concerns expressed. And I guess I can make this like do like this. There we go. Oh, make a small case I. Okay, something like not letting me do. It's trying to do small case Roman numerals, but it's not liking them. All right. Oh, I know I could do Latin numerals. There, I took that one. Okay, or no, actually the Arabic numerals. I'm getting all my numbers mixed up. Okay, so doing that, I'll just kind of let me go back to the screen and see if people have different concerns they wish to raise. And I'm going to open this up again. Okay, all right. I keep clicking on the images and I'm supposed to stop sharing. So here I'm back. Okay, so opening up here. Any concerns people have noticed recently that stand out here? It's open floor, really.
What concern are you talking? When you say what concerns are we talking about?
Community concerns. So issues that are mainly issues that are specific to District 4 that have come up that maybe, something to mention at the next council meeting, or maybe to send a message to Councilman Spivey about that, and we're saying this is something that has came up as a matter of concern and we'd like to see this addressed.
Well, I can say this: the speed bumps they have put around in the community, they're not effective.
Okay, who isn't effective?
Speed bumps, they're not effective. They're not, they're just a hump. Well, I guess where they not a bump, they need to be a bump
Speed
instead
hump.
of a hump.
Okay.
They need to be
excuse me, Karen. Excuse me, sorry for cutting you off. In what way that the speed bumps are not effective? I'm trying to take minutes, and so that's why I'm asking that question.
Okay, I understand. Well, they don't slow cars down. Now, people that are conscious, it does, but they don't do anything. It's just like running over a small bump, and that's what they are, bumps. We need they're humps, but we really need bumps that really make a car stop. They are not effective.
Okay, if I bring this up, I'd want to mention a specific street or specific streets where people
Well,
have been out for them.
well, I can tell you on Glenfield, I've watched on Glenfield Street on the Detroit East Side.
Glenfield?
Glenfield, Glenfield.
Okay, Glenfield. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm having a little trouble hearing, the Zoom effects here. Okay, Glenfield, and that would be, and what between, because Glenfield might be.
Glenfield is between Gratiot and the area I'm speaking about is Gratiot and Dickerson, because the other streets have not received their speed bumps yet. But I can tell you that those that are down are not effective. They need to be a little higher to be effective. They not need to be humps. They need to be bumps. That really a person know that if you hit it, you'll mess up your car.
Okay,
To
so
make people really slow down and
I'm
stop.
sorry, you said on Glenfield between Gratiot and what again?
Gratiot and Dickerson, that's the only area currently that their speed bumps is humps is from Gratiot to Dickerson. And like I said, they're not really effective. And I think anyone probably really not. But this right in this area, we do have a playground, and I watch them just fly past it. So
All
they're
right, thanks
nice.
very much. Thanks,
You're welcome.
Ms. Knox. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Okay.
Scotty?
Yes.
Yeah, Scotty. Speaking of the speed bumps, can you research or have Spivey research and see if there is an ordinance on the books about the residential communities should have speed signs in the community? Because there are no speed signs in any of our communities.
Mm-mm.
When you said
limit.
research, are you simply requesting it, or are you saying you want to find out if it's allowed?
No. What I'm
Okay.
saying is there an ordinance already on the books that there should be speed limit signs in residential communities? And if there's not, then we would like to request speed signs.
Okay, thank you.
I have a question regarding the speed bumps in cars.
Okay, Ms. Yancey?
Yes, I think it's the make and model of the cars that make a difference with those speed bumps, because if your car sits low enough to the ground, that would cause a lot of damage to your underbody of the car if you're trying to go fast over those bumps. And or is it a difference between those speed bumps and that they have down and others? Some sitting up higher than others? Is that what this problem is?
Well, yeah, the ones that they're calling speed actually, and the thing is, the speed humps that they were, I think actually these are actually bumps that the ones that are more common are bumps. The speed humps, the ones they're calling that, looks like they're made out of tire treads, and they have and they tend to be up a little higher than the ones that are made of asphalt that are a little smoother. They both have the yellow chevrons painted on them. But I noticed myself that the ones that look like they're formed out, they have a texture that looks like a tire, but it's harder stuff. They look like actually separate objects mounted to the roads, where some of the more recent speed humps are like asphalt that's kind of formed to make a bump. And my personal experience, what you're saying about the models might have something to do with it, because my personal experience is that I have one right by my house, and that everyone's been slowing down for them, and I've been slowing down almost to a total stop. Now, I haven't seen what is, but I will go and look because I'm interested now. On Glenfield between Gratiot and Dickerson, it may very well be that those are much shallower than the ones they put on Balfour. But I'll take a look, and heck, I should drive over them just to see how that feels. Because yeah, if they are even lower than the ones we have over here in Balfour, then maybe that would be quite a lot less. But it could also depend on the model of car. If I have one, a big, one of these things like, you watch those commercials where it's like the Bronco turns into a goat and comes out of the cave or whatever, and is going around on the mountain. Well, anything that's designed to go around on mountains and big rocks is not going to have a problem with anything we put there. So it does depend on what it's made of. But yeah, definitely, I'll check it out and pass that communication along about that location, because when you got a specific location where people are asking for something, that's where they should pay attention. My problem is when sitting in on the city council meeting, they said they were all out of money for them, and they had just gotten done putting, hundreds or maybe 1,000 of these things out around the city without asking people if they wanted them. And it seemed to me, and then you had people who wanted them who weren't getting them. So my
Yeah.
thought was they found out who wanted them and then made sure those people got what they wanted.
Well, what I noticed is that, and you said they said they're out of money, because we put in for this neighborhood, 2 years ago. And when I did the census, there was speed humps, bumps, whatever you want to call them, over there where there's no houses. That didn't make sense to me. But we've been crying about them in our neighborhood for the longest. And you go over and cross out a drive, and you see them on a side street or somewhere where there's not a lot of traffic. So I don't understand their thinking in when they put these down, and it needs to be rethought. It really does.
Yeah. Oh, and about the signage thing, I don't know if there's an ordinance as far as the city has anything about the speed limit. So yeah, but I'll bring that up to Councilmember Spivey. But what I do know is the general state law, at least when I was, of course, I am talking ancient history, but I'm guessing it hasn't changed much, or they would have told me about this when I took a driver's test again to renew or whatever. That the state law is that in the absence of any speed limit signs at all, if you're in a residential community in a,
Yeah.
unless it's maybe out somewhere rural, like a country road or something, if you're in a residential community and there's no signage, that means 25 miles per hour is the speed limit.
Exactly.
Right.
Now there is an argument that why not even have it lower in some places? I mean, like, there's private apartment complexes and so on. There are townhouses and stuff where it's a subdivision where you'll go in there and they'll have it like 10 or 15 because you're really just driving between parking lots and there's children playing all around the place and everything. So there's different. I don't think there's any rule preventing that, but then again, I'm not the lawyer. That is something to bring up to be investigated. I see a note here. Oh yeah, and I think I got the email from one of our community members also. Oh, it's sent to everybody, so it's Danny. Everyone can see this. Yeah, the FCA payout. How much money is left? That's a question we should put there because there are a lot of people saying they did not get anything regarding FCA and that they should have. So let me go to that. I want to put that in there. So we got research the speed limit. Signage rules. Oh, you know what? Here, let me just do this. Sorry, you can't see what I'm doing. I'll display the screen in a minute.
Yes, Scotty, please explain to me, and believe me, I don't know, what does FCA, the FCA payout mean?
Yeah, Chrysler. I think A is for automotive, maybe. Yeah, I think it's something like.
Okay, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, Chrysler Automotive, I think is the correct interpretation. Of course, that name being a rather fluid thing, I don't even think that's what it was called when the plant was built. They've been changing the name yet again. This company, every time they have a new merger, new people buy stock or something, it's like a whole discussion of what are we going to call it now. So yeah, the payout though was under FCA, and that's what they're called when the discussion happened. So I think that is a correct way of phrasing this. So how much is left of the FCA payout money is left?
Is that question how much FCA money is left for District 4 in the impact area or what?
I would assume, now let me think about it. Is part of that plant also in District 5? I'll put in and out of District 4 just so we're more clear overall and in District 4 in case there is a crossover, because yeah, it's right on the edge. So I'll put in the notes to ask about both because it is on the edge. I know it's very close to District 5 boundaries too. I was at a meeting, and I'm not sure if the person who said this is present now. It was one of those charter mandated meetings that Mike Duggan spoke at, and it was over off Connor. And at the meeting, one of the people during community comments or question and answer introduced himself as a resident of District 4.5, and he was referring to living over by the Fiat Chrysler plant, but I guess it was also so close to District 5 that he sometimes felt like he was hearing more from fellow community members in that district than in District 4. But anyway, I do, let me just do one more thing.
Talk to you later. We'll talk about it.
I'm gonna back to the screen where I can see everybody. Okay. So, oh, it's all in District 4. I got a comment here. Thank you, Ms. Johnson.
And
Oh, that's the name now, Stellantis.
no,
Did
I
I
was
say it right? Is it Stellantis or Stellantis? The name of the Stellantis now?
yeah.
Okay.
And Scotty, also,
Yeah.
I spoke with this Brenda Butler. I
Hi,
spoke
Ms.
with
Butler.
a Lincoln Moore from the city of Detroit that is one of the program managers for the FCA.
Okay.
And we can look forward to getting a flyer. There's going to be a community FCA meeting the week of February the 15th and the week of February 22nd. He says that there's going to be 2 meetings. So just look forward to a flyer coming out from the
Can you
city.
do me a favor and make sure I get one?
I sure will.
I mean, when you get it. And who is the person you spoke to again? So I can also follow up that route so I can make doubly sure.
There's a gentleman named Lincoln Moore. He's in housing and revitalization. And those are the
Okay,
2
so-
meetings, but they have not set the date, but he did share with me that it will be the week of the 15th of February and one the week beginning the 22nd.
Okay, the week of the
Brenda?
15th. and
It's gonna be a Zoom call.
Excuse me, Brenda,
Yes,
can you hear me? Could you please send me the information through the chat box during our meeting so I can, I am taking the minutes, so I'm trying to get all the information. So could you send me the information through the chat box, please?
of what I just said.
Yes, yes.
Sure.
Thank you, I appreciate it, thanks.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna fix some of this too. I'm making notes myself also, so I mean, it doesn't hurt to have more of us doing the note taking.
Yeah, thanks, Scotty. I do need help, thanks.
Yeah, I'm also, but in fact, let me display what I put in here. I just put it right into the agenda underneath where I had community concerns. So I'm going to display that so everyone can have a look at this, what I did. I think I find the correct document yet. There it is. So what I have here, and here, let me just enlarge this again because I can just show everybody more. Make it huge, why not? Okay, so the part of this that's going to be critical as far as the current discussion is down here. Item 6, new business, or section 6, new business, where it says current community concerns and plans of action. So we have speed humps. They're not slowing the cars down, specifically the one on Glenfield, or the ones on Glenfield between Gratiot and Dickerson. So that's something to bring to the council's attention. A open question is there an ordinance regarding speed limit signs in residential areas? And there also is the issue of how much of the FCA payout money is left, and that is for Stellantis, if they change the name of the payout money, as well as and then We have Lincoln Moore from the Housing and Revitalization Unit, who is planning a meeting probably in the week of the 15th or the 22nd. And Ms. Butler said that she would apprise me of this. And I'm going to also try to see if I can find out the contact information of this person and follow up as well. So we have dual efforts on this.
Oh, shoot.
And so that's where we are right now. Is there anything further to bring to the council's attention regarding matters specifically in District 4 before discussing other things like planning future meetings and coming up with some kind of financial ideas?
Scotty, before we leave this area, this is Catherine.
Hi, Catherine.
Hi. I do want to add or resubmit to our new business the main area of concern regarding safety and speed on French Road, where the Fiat Chrysler crew, deliveries, everything utilize that route at extreme rates, overpowering our community. We lost a traffic signal on the corner of French and East Canfield. We would like it to be evaluated to be placed back there. We have a school locally the next block over, and it is a high impact area. Just this past week, I counted 125 cars that zoomed through between the hours of 2:15 and 2:45.
Wow.
They should not be traveling on a residential street at the speed or the volume. They should use Connor or Van Dyke, McClellan, any other street. It is the feeder to the freeway. And, you know, it's become very treacherous.
Okay. Yeah, and you know, I think at least that signal is something that could easily be dealt with. You know, it might be a matter of like some kind of no through traffic. I've seen that on residential areas to limit passage.
Well,
through.
no
I
other
know
street is
force-
experiencing this because the speed bumps, humps, or whatever are on them. And
Yeah.
it's still right, a sign, postage, you know, children here, old people, dogs, I don't know, whatever. We could list all of those particular concerns, maybe with disabilities or whatever, so that people are paying more aware. But once again, it's going to be a huge tragedy that exists. That it is a safety issue for us, and we will continue to just speak to that. And I will attend a city meeting. I didn't get a chance to go to the last one, but it's just very important for us that, you know, our safety, our vehicles, our homes, all are being able to be maintained. And it is the Fiat Chrysler traffic that is creating the issue. And I will be at the meeting the
Okay,
week of
thank
the
you.
15th or the 22nd, whenever they post it.
Thank you. I'm also going to share in the chat because it helps as a reinforcing item to also have people during the community resident, you know, I'm sorry, was it? It's citizen comments at the city council meetings of these items. Sometimes you have to bring them up 1,000 times, but it doesn't hurt to also do that. So I'm gonna put that in the chat as soon as I dig up the information here. Oh, here we go. I just got it. Okay, I've actually put up the information about this coming meeting. There is one tomorrow at 10 a.m. It's typically Tuesdays at 10 are when they do their main general business. So I'm actually going to put a link to information about that meeting in here. Let me do that first. So if you look in the chat, I have a link to the item on the city website. And here, the item on the city website itself says they have a formal session at 10 a.m. And there's a link to an agenda there. It's fairly lengthy item. For people listening by phone, I think I'm going to go back and read off the phone information, which actually it's probably printed on one of these agendas if I just open it. Okay. If you want to phone in instead of Zooming in, oh, and by the way, they don't actually have a Zoom link and it says phone only, but I'll tell you right now, if you have Zoom on your device, you can put down to join meeting and it'll ask you to put in the meeting ID. And then like, yeah, it's all you need. You don't even need a passcode, just to put in the meeting ID. And if you do that, it will work. You will get the meeting. And they will recognize you. So it's sometimes if you're more comfortable doing it that way instead of by regular phone, then that's how you can do it. So the meeting ID they have, and this is especially if you're going to be a person calling in so that you can't see what I'm displaying on the screen, or actually I'm not even displaying it right now. Let me display it for those who can see it. Here it is. So now everyone should be able to see this. And what you can see there is it says, okay, so regarding those meetings, it says the meeting ID is 330-332-554. And again, if you're on the phone listening and you have something to write on, but you can't see the thing I'm displaying, it says the meeting ID is 330-332-554. And similar to the way you participated in this conversation, except you won't need the passcode. You just call the phone number. It asks you for the meeting ID. You put that in. The phone number, I think, is the same one you would have called. There's actually a few numbers here. I always just tell people one of the phone numbers because it's, so I've had people complain that things were confusing when they look at 5 different phone numbers, all of which work. So I'm just going to give the one that actually represents the nearest area. They didn't have a Detroit number. They had a Chicago number. It's the closest city on their list of phone numbers. And that phone number is 1. Well, you don't have to dial 1 if it's a cell phone. And then it's 312 is the area code. That's the Chicago area code. So it's 1 digit different than ours, 312. Then the number is 626-6799. Again, 312-626-6799. And that's probably the best phone number to use. And then just put in that meeting ID. As with this meeting, if you want to raise or lower your hand, you can use *7. I'm sorry, *9. I said that wrong. *9 will raise and lower your hand from their point of view. And *6 will mute or unmute yourself. If they're having a meeting and they're not at citizen comments and they haven't come to you yet, and you push *6 trying to unmute yourself, it probably won't work because it's in a webinar format and they don't really want anyone talking other than the people they've already got on the agenda until they get to citizen comments. The length of time you get and the time they do it varies. With the city council, they often hear citizen comments right after the invocation at the beginning of the meeting. Sometimes though, you might have a presentation and then they say citizen comments. Very rarely do they leave it to the very end. It's almost never at the very end. And so they expect people to be there early who wish to participate. So that's the deal with them, the citizen comments and the city council. I had one case where actually they came quite late. I think it was like not until sometime past noon, but other times I've been on there and like at 10:10, they're like, okay, we're gonna go right to citizen comments. Sometimes they have a hearing and they only pick up one issue. So, okay. Then the next thing I had under new business, is there anything more on the current community concerns before? Yeah,
Scotty?
yes,
Yes, Brenda Butler here again. I was
yes.
listening to the internal affairs, I think, meeting today with the city council.
Mhm.
And I would just like to share with you to please follow up on what's going on with proposal N and the contractors, because they presented before the committee today, and there were a lot of questions about contractors with addresses to say that they were city contractors. And one of the contractors' address that was given ended up being a UPS store. So there are a lot of concerns that the city council, well, actually, Brenda Jones brought it up. She came into their meeting. So they're not doing their homework and doing what they're supposed to do with this proposal in. So we need to stay right on top of that.
Okay. So proposal N, contractors with fake addresses. Put that out there.
And also, they say that there is a possibility that some of the workers that have given the city their ID with their addresses on them, they have not been verified, and they could be giving them an address of a vacant house or a land bank house. So the city is not doing their due diligence. So we got to stay on top of that.
Okay. They need to verify addresses. Gotcha. Thank you. Okay. Now, as far as future meetings, and really, this is I'm going to mainly go back to the members here, the four of us. First of all, let me just explain the context here. I don't own this Zoom account. I've been using a Zoom account of another organization I'm involved with, who's granted me permission to use it for a couple meetings. And actually, I've kind of probably pushed the envelope on that. I have a personal Zoom account. It's like all free Zoom accounts that only work for 40 minutes if you have more than 2 people talking on it. There is the rather cantankerous workaround that makes longer meetings possible if one is willing to endure, should we call them intermissions, where one gets back on and treated as like a new meeting after one has ended, and you keep having these little 4-minute hops. And that's not really that good. So whether we use another platform or not is also an issue, but if it's going to remain online in the near future, I think this organization, the C.A.C, should get a Zoom account. But now, as soon as you do anything that costs money and you're an organization, then the organization actually has to be and I know it's a funny legal phrase, like a separate person. I know it's not really a person, but needs to have some kind of identity of its own. Now, make it clear there's absolutely nothing we can legally ask for and expect to get from the city of Detroit for any of our expenses. That's right in the charter. It's not open to any interpretation, really. So we're talking about now, it probably would not be hard if I simply were to post, and I've done this with other things, like when I was acting on my own as an individual, promoting the C.A.C, I'd put a funding pool, which is sort of like GoFundMe without them taking the money off the top and promoting it for you. But like a funding pool, which is really kind of a pitch in thing where people can contribute money using PayPal on the website. And I'd have no problem doing something like that. And I suppose, I mean, but it's, again, technically not really a good look. But I mean, I personally wouldn't have a problem with just collecting the money on my own and then putting it out there. But then again, it seems like if it's really belonging to the community and it's not an individual's thing, that it would be better if it belonged to the C.A.C, which then drops right over to item C. And I realize now I haven't been sharing the agenda, which deals with having a bank account or credit union. So I guess I'm opening it up for discussion. I mean, it's possible that we could do this. And I'm now gonna find this thing right away. There it is. It is possible that we could do this with just individually owned accounts, and it's just that there needs to be a significant amount of transparency then on our own individual accounts if any of us are going to do that. But again, it would be maybe, it would be better if we could, I suppose it would be a business account with the name of the business being called District 4 Community Advisory Council, and then having the signers on it be the treasurer and the chair. That's pretty standard. Usually is how it would work. I think they usually would have two signers. And then have something in there that would have to be a way of transitioning it over to anyone else who took it. Since we're acting in a non-political, and by that I mean non-oral sense, there's not a campaign finance issue. Yes?
I don't believe,
Gregory.
Yeah, this is Greg Cresswell. I don't believe we ought to touch this at all. Not with a 10-foot pole or be within light years of this type of a thing.
I'm trying to hear, did you say we shouldn't touch it at all?
We absolutely not. Should not be within light years of it. We should just discount this idea immediately. No bank account, credit account, credit union account, nothing at all. No collection of any money. I mean, if I make myself clear, no.
Okay, so then we're reverting back to using things owned by members. And I suppose it then being upon the members to make a convincing case for this being a reliable, when collecting money, that it's going to be used the way it says it is.
What is the cost?
I didn't have a problem doing when I was handing out those cards, but I don't know.
What is the cost?
How comfortable people are with that?
What is the cost of the Zoom meeting device? What's the cost?
I believe it's going to be $15 a month. That I'm basing that upon the Wayne County LP, which is a group me and Creswell are members of, what they charge. And actually that's whose account I'm using right now.
Scotty,
Yes. Yes, Ms. Butler.
yes, okay, I just read read the chat from Letitia Johnson, and then I'll make my statement.
Okay. So I'm gonna let me just want to stop the screen share. I just realized I wasn't even sharing the agenda. I thought I was, and I was actually sharing a city council info. But okay. Oh, here we go. And Ms. Johnson put down $149 a year unless you're a nonprofit. So let me see how that. I think it's close to what I was saying, but not the same. So if I have. I'm reaching for my phone. I don't have it with me. I usually use that as a
And she
calculator.
also placed in the chat that it could be $75 if you are a nonprofit.
Oh, profit.
So would it be fair to say that the nonprofits, because we are a new C.A.C. and everyone is excited about it, that the nonprofits in District 4 fund the Zoom account as long as we're having Zoom, we are, you know, we're at this stage where we must have Zoom calls?
Well, and here's the thing. Now I had C.A.C. member Creswell is uncomfortable with the idea. By the way, I did the arithmetic based upon what Ms. Johnson just told me. That means it would if one were to spread out the cost to figure it out by month, it comes out to $12 and a little under 42 cents. So roughly $12.42 a month. So, and the 75 obviously would be less. The thing is, to set up a nonprofit is not a trivial matter. It's not impossible either, but it is. It does involve some paperwork.
It sure does. It
And
involves through the federal government and the state government through tax purposes, and it's a lot of steps for that.
okay, so yeah,
it has to be a
let me
tax
just see if there's even. I want to get, let me get a consensus from. I want to kind of get a feel of if there's even life in these ideas, going around the the room between the four of us. So, that would be myself, Karen, Washington, and Gregory. So Gregory, put it this way, what do you see as an acceptable way to fund our costs and so on?
I hadn't thought about it until you brought it up. Good question. Let me ponder that and get back to me.
Okay. By the way, I'm going to ask Letitia, because she might have some direct experience with this. You brought in the chat, which is visible to everyone. She brought up the 5th Precinct Police Community Relations Council. Now, Ms. Johnson, are you an? I'm trying to remember if you are an office holder within that organization. Okay, treasurer. So you would know how were you did you find it to be complicated to become your term limited? Did you find it to be complicated to have it function as a nonprofit? All right. She told me it wasn't complicated. So, if we decided we were going to do that, could I follow up with you directly? I'm reading chat. Okay. Now, of course, there always is the possibility that I'll call Ms. Johnston on the phone and she'll go, I wasn't at your C.A.C. meeting. But that's the thing about text. Okay. It's probably real. Oh, actually, I think you did a video going for a minute earlier, didn't you? Okay. All right, there she is. Okay, she's real. Just got to confirm that. All right. Okay. No, it's not really a joke. I'm kidding about it, but I was with one group where somebody spoofed the email address of the treasurer of the organization and actually sent some information about some banking information being needed to transfer some funds or something, and it had to be done urgently. And it turned out it really was it was fake. So things happen sometimes. Okay, so all right, let me now move on to Karen Knox. How do you feel about nonprofit, setting up a nonprofit or a business account or something like that?
You said, how do I feel about that?
Yeah.
I think it's fine to have a business account with a nonprofit. I have a business account with our nonprofit. Yeah, I think that's fine.
Okay, and of course the
I
person
mean,
who
I guess the question I will be asking, setting up a business account, what will we using it for? Because that's usually like we're going to be purchasing or doing things. So other than having the Zoom thing, what else would we be needing money for?
Okay, and well, the other thing would be if we have meetings at live venues. Normally we can get these things donated, but there might be additional things that aren't free. And maybe we want to get refreshments out to community members attending, or whether or not there might be additional AV stuff we might want to set up depending on how big these things get. So there could be other things that come in that way. Also, what I'll say is the website we have right now is actually one of my old websites that I simply repurposed for the C.A.C. So it's not really, doesn't belong to the organization, it belongs to me, as does the URL d4cac.org. Now, what I would do if this organization had a life of its own is I would be willing to sell, because you can transfer ownership, directly, my that URL, that d4cac.org, over to the organization, so it could be kept, whether or not I'm part of it anymore in the future. And but the website itself is really, well, it's bowmanfordetroit.com. I mean, if you put in d4cac.org, it's actually what's up there, obviously, about me. So while I'm keeping the information fairly neutral as far as anything new that's been in there since the C.A.C. thing got rolling, the fact of the matter is, at one time, it's actually an old campaign site. So it would be appropriate to have, so I'm talking a lot, but in any case, other things we have at meetings, and then also a website. In other words, it'd be nice if, and we could do this for, like, a website for, maybe 20 some bucks a year or something is possible, depending on how you want to set it up, or a little more if one wants to make it a little more professional. But the point is ownership of certain things rather than belonging to individuals. I mean, there's, of course, that it doesn't have to be that way. And frankly, I would donate use of that URL anyway to whoever took over. But these things cost small amounts of money, but there's money there. And so there's the Zoom. Oh, and then also there's another matter, and I'm thinking we probably just want to pay for this ourselves based upon you know, what we're getting. But there's also the matter of business cards, which we could get individually. I mean, I could get a stack of business cards for me, and Gregory could get a stack for him, and Washington could get a stack for him, and Karen could get a stack for her. But that's also something that could come up. I see a hand raised. Ms. Butler?
Yes, Scotty. So don't we have another CAC in one of the other communities in the city?
Yes, we do. District 7.
Okay, so can we talk about how when they got started, what did they do? And also with their C.A.C, did their members have to be elected also, or you or District 4 is the first that had to go through an election?
No, it's the same for everyone. Oh, and by the way, I should bring this up now because there's been a little bit of confusion. When the C.A.C is first formed, the way I read the charter is when the C.A.C is first formed, the members are elected in the general, not the primary. But as far as I can see, from this point forward, including this year, if you want to be on the C.A.C, you need to petition to get in the primary. And then the winners of the primary move on to the general. So if you want to be on the ballot for C.A.C, there is actually a two-step process. Now, it might turn out, and there is a rule, that if the number of people, if there's like, I think less than twice the number of openings for an office in the, you know, after people have filed for the primary, that they're not actually on the primary ballot, but the deadline still holds. And so even though you might just be advanced into the general automatically, they still will have needed those petitions by then.
Okay.
And it's 200 minimum, 400 maximum on the signatures.
Okay, and Scotty, also, being that this is an elected office, correct?
Mhm.
Of the city of Detroit. Do you have access, does the C.A.C have access to the website through the city of Detroit?
And that's a really interesting question. Yes and no. There is nothing legally preventing them from including information about us. And I have pointed out to them on numerous occasions that if the city posts information about the C.A.C, it is not money given to the C.A.C. It is simply informing the people of the city of Detroit properly about their own government. And that's all they have to think about it as, and then there's not a problem. Now, there is the separate issue of simply posting meetings when I inform them. The first meeting we had and it was really just the elected members and members of the community attending. That first meeting actually was published on the city website. And what happened is when I first sent the information in, the person at the city clerk's office went ahead and did it without a little more clarification. And since then, someone went and did a little bit of research, and what they found out is that, see, it's a matter of who has the authority to ask them to post something. And different people go through different people. So it turns out only the city council and I think the city council and the charter commission are the only two organizations that go through the clerk's office to ask to be posted on the website. So there's somebody else we need to go through to get posted on the website. I don't know who that somebody else is, but I guess it's part of our job to find out, or part of my job to find out.
So go ahead.
So the point is, there's nothing in principle preventing our next meeting from being posted on the city website. There's nothing in principle from preventing other information, basic information about the C.A.C. It wouldn't be our own wouldn't have control over it, the content. They would simply probably collect information and put something there, but they simply haven't been doing it. But I think the first step is I think since there already is a precedent that a meeting was posted and no one had an issue with it, to find out who we do contact about getting meetings posted. Like for instance, the Board of Police Commissioners, they're elected. They don't go through the clerk's office. Cause I asked about it. I go, well, doesn't the BOPC? And they're like, no, they don't talk to us. They get their information posted. So there's a different way to get the events posted. I got to find out who I talk to do that.
So Scotty,
That would be the first.
may I suggest the Legislative Policy Division with Mr. Whitaker?
Okay, I'll make a note here because actually I've talked to them before. Is that that's another item. Let me do this. I'm doing our screen share. Okay, where was I? And by the way, I'm going to add this on here then under account financial. I'll add another item here. Okay, so we'll check with the Legislative Policy Division. I did not, when we were back, and I kind of got off track here. When I was going through kind of getting a little head count or whatever on who was for or against the idea of either getting set up as a business or as a nonprofit. The person who probably should have the most to say about it is our treasurer, and I didn't even hear from him yet. So Washington Houston, what's your outlook on this idea?
For now, I think we should just go through our own. I don't know if you guys set up campaign accounts, but we can go through our own campaign accounts and just donate the money ourselves or fundraise through our political accounts for this office.
It's not a campaign is my issue with that.
Yeah, but you can donate though.
You can.
From your
Okay.
campaign.
And that is it that you have to I know when I've had campaigns, the rule was if I had money left over at the end, which didn't actually happen, but if I did, that it would need to go to a charity, in other words, to a nonprofit.
Yeah, if you close it out.
Yeah. Oh, I see. If it's not closed out, just spending on it.
Yeah, if you don't close it out, you just report that you didn't use any money, and it's still there.
Okay. So I'm taking that as whether or not we use the process you're describing here or not. It sounds like a no for now on setting up a business or a nonprofit account.
You will probably have to set up a nonprofit, or we could contact the city and find out what nonprofit they use and ask them, can we donate to them so that they can make the purchase?
No, we'll need to do that. Add that question also to the Legislative Policy Division, Scotty. Because if we
where
do
we get money for other things we do.
If we do something wrong, the Legislative Policy Division is going to be the ones to do the research to find out what's what. So just go up front and just ask them all the things that we need to know.
Well, I can tell you, we can have money donated to us, but you just have to apply for it through the state. With as a license, you get that we can have money donated, anything donated. It's just a license you have to apply for.
Okay, so Council Member Knox says that we could apply for the license What I'm going to say is, I'm going to make a motion that all of us, okay, I'm going to make a motion that to table, motion to table this to the next meeting, which will be in March. And meanwhile, we should each do research and share it with one another. What we find out online about the best and most legal way to do this. And so that when we get to the next meeting, there's something, we have a little more information to work on. So, I will be asking, Ms. Knox, do you have personal experience applying to the state for something like that?
Yeah, we have with our block club. That's why I know, with the association, we have
okay,
that.
your block club.
Yeah.
So I'll be
So
checking
it
with
will be
you on how you
association
went
now.
about it.
Yeah. Well, our secretary at the time did it. Cause it was a accountant that told us that we need to do that. Anytime you're getting donation, you have to have a license from the state. But I can look it up and ask her how it was done. But yeah, we have that. You have to do it once a year and put an application in for it, and you can receive donations.
Let me make a note here. Okay, and I guess meanwhile, it's just a matter of, I'll put this out there. Meanwhile, if one of the other members wants to get business cards printed or something and sets up a way of collecting money for him or herself, let me know and I'll put it on the website. I'll just have a page where there is a donate page, I think right now that it's still sitting up there from when I printed cards to hand out. And I could simply have, to get Karen Knox business cards, click here. To get Gregory Creswell business cards, click here. To give Washington Houston business cards, click here. Give Scotty Boman business cards, click here. And just it could just go to your own whatever you're doing. I'd be willing to extend that out there and just put that there. So it's just an individual matter. It's not a collective thing for now. That's just between now and then March. If we table this discussion till March, then I think we could come back to the meeting with a better understanding of where to go from there. So I guess I'm going to have to I'll have to figure something out as far as just what to do for the next meeting. I'm going to try to see if I can use a Zoom account that will afford us the opportunity to talk without interruption. And if I can't, maybe we'll get interrupted. So there's really two possibilities actually for the March 8th meeting. The other possibility is we could have a face-to-face meeting. Let me just kind of do a vote of the four. Let me just ask up or down on a face-to-face meeting and see what I get. I'll put it out there as a motion without voting on it myself at first. Guys want to see, is there support for a face-to-face meeting?
Scotty, are you talking about face-to-face just with you, the members?
I'm talking about, no, because you have to have, it's got to be open to the public. So I'm talking about getting together at some venue and people showing up. If it's
Nope,
legal,
not
we
me.
don't know it's going to be allowed.
I think it's too soon for that, Scotty.
Yes, I'm not with that at all.
Yeah,
March is too soon.
Yeah, I really do, because you don't know what could happen next month. You might, when these meetings catch on, you might have 50 people that want to be at the March meeting, and then so no. I would wait until at least this summer come in, or late, when it warms up, before, so we could be in a place where we could really social distance.
I agree.
Okay, Gregory in Washington.
I agree.
I'll hold off on the face-to-face for now.
Okay. So that I just wanted to put it out there so we got that out of the way. So we will meet then, have a virtual meeting, probably by Zoom. And I would post the information on the website on the d4cac.org website as I've been doing, as well as trying to get it out by other avenues. When I find out how I'm gonna whether I'm gonna have access to any accounts that will enable a full-length meeting, or if I will be needing to split it up into a couple meetings. In other words, what you did to get on this meeting, after the first 40 minutes, all of a sudden everything goes off and you go back.
One thing I wanted to point out, we maybe can just,
and you're back in. Pardon, Washington?
one thing we maybe can just ask the city of Detroit if they have like Zoom accounts that we can use. They probably,
Yeah.
they probably already have accounts that like are like just set aside just for folks to use. The city of Detroit might just let us use one of theirs, just like they would let us use the conference room.
Right, exactly. That's a good idea. Because I'm quite sure they're having Zoom meetings. And
Yeah, so they have probably access codes and they can probably just give us one just to use for our meetings.
So add that
Just
to the
like
legislative policy division, Scotty.
Yeah, because I was gonna say I was just gonna bring up the same thing again.
Because the commissioners use, I think they use something like they might use Zoom for a meeting. So maybe they already have something set up that we can just use on a day that we need to use it.
Okay, and here's what I think the answer is going to be, but I'll ask them. I'll just have a note here. See if we can use it through the city. Legislative policy division again. Because what I see them saying is,
excuse me, Scotty,
something they're paying money for.
Excuse me. At 9 o'clock, I'm out.
Okay, got that. Yeah, in fact, I plan on moving along right now. Actually, I'm going to kind of refer to it as an order of business issue, where we need to orders of the day is actually what it's called. We got to kind of be on schedule, though it doesn't have one here. Okay, so let's move right on. So that's really what we got going for that meeting anyway. I'm gonna cut this out.
And we do need to have a cap time on these meetings.
Yeah, I do. I'm gonna move on to public comment and make a motion, since we're gonna go past 9 on that, I'm pretty sure of it. I'm going to make a motion to say that adjournment will automatically occur after public comment. Do I have a second on that?
I second that motion.
Okay, I believe that was Council Member Houston seconded it. Okay, I'm going to bring this to a vote then. I, Scotty Boman, vote that at the conclusion of public comments that we will automatically adjourn.
Gregory Creswell confirm.
Okay, Gregory Creswell confirms.
Can you sign confirm?
Karen Knox confirm.
Okay, well, that's all 4. So we'll just go right into public comment. So I'm just going to look here and see how we're doing here. We have, got to stop my screen sharing somewhere along here. Oh no, I wasn't even screen sharing. Okay, I didn't even know what I was doing. Okay, so we're at public comment and I'm looking at everybody in front of me. And I guess you can put up your hand using the, it's for if you're using a phone, a regular phone, you can use *9 to raise and lower your hand and *6 to mute and unmute yourself. Community member Brenda Butler has her hand up, and then followed by that, there's someone with the number ending in 56. So we're going to start with Ms. Butler.
Okay, I would like to say good night to everyone. But before I say good night, I would like to congratulate Miss Karen Denise Knox
Thank you.
as appointee to the C.A.C. and welcome.
All right, thank you so much.
You are so welcome. Oh,
Okay.
and happy Black History Month, everybody.
Amen to that.
Okay. Anything else, Ms. Butler?
That's it, and good night.
Good night. Hands are still up. Okay, now I got someone here, and I'm sorry, and by the way, if you call in, just let you know your phone numbers show up here. I got someone. Oh, I saw a hand raised with a phone number. Now I don't know where it went. Oh no, there it is. No, it's still there. Things just moved around on the screen. Phone number ending in 3856.
Scott? Hello?
Hello.
Hi, I'm 3856, Judy Pencil, over in the Morningside area. In fact, I live on Scott Street. May I go ahead, please? Hello?
Oh yes, please.
Yes, okay.
Yes, you may go ahead.
I don't know if you are familiar with the recreation survey that has been going on. They are still taking submissions from us as to how money should be spent on recreation from the Department of Parks and Rec. And if you call the city council or the city mayor's office, they will, or Brenda Jones, I think I got it, the survey through Brenda Jones, and fill it out, and they ask for your opinion on what is needed in the area of recreation in your particular area or district. I am very concerned after working on a gardening program with the Clark School around the corner from my house, and for many, many years working with the neighborhood children who would congregate on my porch, and being hijacked 2 years ago at the school by former school members who didn't work with me, by the way. They were too old at that point, and but 14, 15-year-olds, and they were dressed in gang outfits that were like beautiful. I mean, they cost them quite something, from the shoes to the headpieces, the disguises, long wigs, white wigs. They were all dressed in gray and white, but they toted a gun, at least one of them did, and hijacked my car. They were caught quickly because my neighbor got right on it. I ran across the whole block of the schoolyard with my dog, and the neighbor, and the police caught them within 15 or 20 minutes. But I've also, years ago, 6, 7 years ago, had my house turned upside down 3 times before the police caught a gang. And 2 of those guys are still running around. They never did get caught. One guy with a huge braid down to his waist. And boy, they stopped when they saw me driving my car again. They really turned on a dime, and they were amazed. But so these gangs are very prevalent, and if we do not have recreation, because these kids have nothing to do. This was the end of summer. The end of summer, just before school was going to start, and there was not enough basketball hoops. I want the schools to be opened up for a few days of the week, certain hours, open the gyms, have supervision, recreation leaders, as they did when I was a kid growing up in Detroit. We had excellent recreation leaders, maybe 4 or 5 days a week from 9 to 3. Now, even a couple hours a day, 2 or 3 days a week. Our children desperately need this. The other idea I have is a splash park all over the place, many splash parks on the order of Palmer Park. If you've ever been to Palmer Park, this splash park is liability free. Only small amounts of water come out. It would not attract teenagers, but it would allow our children to cool off. A few can afford to go to Chandler Park and these other water parks, let alone get the transportation to go there. So why not put in these mini splash parks all over the city? We wouldn't even need a changing bathhouse, nothing. They can just go right home and change, and because only small amounts of water come out, global warming is here, summers are getting hotter. So if you could request that recreation survey, and then when they say other and ask for your recommendation, you can mention some of these things. Supervised recreation leaders in not just in our big park, Cannon. Cannon has all the sports going on, but that's 2 miles away from our area. And kids can't get there. Their parents can't, small children and so forth. So I'm thinking of kids from 7 to 14. They really need something by the time they're teenagers, just some basketball hoops. And we need the police to stop in to those centers, maybe every hour. Check in, come to know your neighborhood, and so forth. Police-community relations, as we know, must be improved. Okay, that is all I have to say. If anybody would support that, I would appreciate it. And, you could contact me. I would really like to get a committee going where we pushed for this. More recreation in small doses in many, many more parts of the city other than the major parks.
Okay, by the way, I know who this is. Can I say your first name?
Yes, sure.
Yeah, Judy, would you like to head up the recreation committee? Is that what you're saying?
I would, if we can, if there are those who are interested in pushing for recreation for our children in District 4.
Sure. I am Judy. I think it's an excellent idea because we had the swimmobile and all other type of things when I was coming up. And I think that's an excellent idea for us to get a splash park, and these children definitely do need something to do. That's why they're in so much trouble. They don't have enough recreation. So I think that's an excellent idea.
Okay, great. As anyone who would like to join me, I can give you my phone number and my Gmail. Can I give you my Gmail right now?
Well, let me get up and get a ink pen.
Contact me, and we'll see what we can do. I know a former water engineer, and I want to see how feasible it would be to bring the water to 100 different spots.
I heard all about that in our community, but it came through my mind when I saw it over in Palmer Park, when I was like, well, they probably can't do it, but I'm glad you brought it up. What's your Gmail?
It is Judy, all small letters, Judy, one word, P-E-A-C-E. I mean, the whole thing is one word, no spaces. Judy, P-E-A-C-E, the number 2, the letter U, Judy Peace 2U, at gmail.com.
Okay, my name is, you see my name. Okay, I'll contact you. I think that's wonderful.
Great. Oh, I'd be so happy to have you. And I have a friend who's president of We Care. She's very interested, and some of the people in Morningside. Not officially, I don't know whether the president will do this, but if we lay the groundwork, I think they will come along and support.
Okay. I'm just gonna
Okay.
repeat this back to make sure I have it right. It's JUDYPEAC2@gmail.com.
To the number 2, the letter U. Judy, peace to you.
To you. Judy, peace to you. Okay.
Right.
And
At gmail.com.
it's okay. You say your last name. I know what it is, but I just don't want to just put it out there if you didn't want it out there.
No, that's fine. Pencil, Judy Pencil, P as in Peter, ENSYL. Right.
Okay,
And you might, in your Gmail, give me your phone number, and then perhaps I can contact you.
Okay. So
And we'll exchange phone numbers that way. How does that sound?
Fine. It's fine.
Okay. Great. Well, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
well, thank you, Judy.
Thank you. Good
Yeah,
meeting.
actually, yeah. Judy used to teach at a school where I went to elementary school, so she was friends with my mom. So
We go back a long way. 40
it
plus
goes
years.
back like most of my life for sure.
Almost 50 years. I think.
Yeah, most of your life too. Come to think of it. Wow. Yeah.
Right.
Okay. I'm gonna go see who's next here. We have going back here. I have any further comments from anyone?
I'm going to have to leave now too because I have another a call to take right now. So thank you for allowing me the chance to speak and for supplying me for the info for this meeting. Very good. I'll be tuning in again. So good night, everyone. Thank you so much.
Good night. Thank you.
That can tell me what I missed. Okay, goodbye.
All right, so that takes us now to let's see. Well, who's left? We got Zelda's here and Danny's here and Mr. Leonard. I'm thinking that might be Marcus is here.
Scotty, I'm getting ready to sign off, and I just wanted to say it was a great meeting, and congratulations to Ms. Knox.
Thank you again.
On your position. And I'll be tuning in at the next meeting. I don't have anything this evening.
Thank you.
Oh, and Zelda is chair of our bylaws committee, by the way.
All right.
Thank you, Zelda.
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
And I'll talk to you guys at the next meeting.
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay.
Okay, Danny or Leonard?
Yeah, I'm about to sign off too. This is Danny.
Okay.
Yeah, hopefully get some information with the Fiat Chrysler money. But they're on phase 2 right now. So they'll, we want transparency when it comes to the money. So they're not talking about how much money people are going to get. So
what is the Fiat Chrysler money? What is that?
That's the money they was part of the agreement they did, the community agreement when they got that land donated to them from the city when they took over St. Jean going down Warren to Cultural.
Okay.
Yeah, so they had a little less than $1 million was donated, but the money had to be spent first with Veneto because they messed up their sewer system and they messed up their basements. So we don't know how much money they got spent on Veneto. That was phase 1. And now they come into phase 2 and they trying to streamline it so they don't have that much money spent out. So they making it like a raffle. So everybody's not going to get in on it. These are supposed to be free home repairs they're supposed to be doing for phase 2.
And that's over the Veneto area?
No, that's for the whole area. That's a
for
big
all
area.
the east side?
No, District 4.
That's right, for District 4.
Yeah.
Well, how do we know about these home repairs? Because I've never heard of.
I know they're not being straightforward with it. They keeping a low profile. But I want to make sure they ain't messed that money up. That all the money that's left over from Beneteau gets spent with us. And then
Well,
we got
need
to find out what's
we need to
happening.
get on top of that because so many people need home repairs.
I
So
know
we
I
need
got
to.
3 neighbors that need roofs. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I need home repairs, but I prefer them to get some roof because their
Right,
roofs are
exactly.
leaking. And that's a
So,
health issue.
well, could you let me give you my email so you can contact me so we can find out about this because there's so many people that need roofs, stairs,
Yeah.
masonry work. It's unreal.
Yeah. Okay, then I'll put my number. You on the chat or you want it by verbal?
Give me your verbally because I got paper right here.
Okay, so
What's your name again? Wait a minute, first your
Danny.
Danny.
Yeah. 313
313
445
445
73
73.
31.
And your last name, Danny?
Dolly, like in Hello Dolly. DOLLEY.
Okay, I'll be calling you. Not tonight. I'll call you tomorrow.
Yeah, I understand.
All right.
Miss Knox,
Yes.
I had said good night. This is Brenda Butler, Ken.
Good night and thank you.
Okay, I just, in addition to what Danny just said, the additional FCA funds, those funds are for the impact area for FCA, for that project. And
okay.
the additional funds are only from Dickerson Avenue to Newport Street in Chandler Park.
Okay, so
but
that's not the area out.
But to share with you also, there is a program with DTE that DTE is doing home repairs. And I will give you my number and you could call me and I could tell you who to call.
Okay,
my number is 248 298 6649. And the money that DTE has is this federal money for COVID-19. And they're doing roofs, furnaces, windows, the whole 9.
Okay.
And they're on their second phase. The first phase started in the fall, and now they're getting filling out applications for the second phase.
Awesome. Great. Thank you. Thank you for telling me.
Give me a call tomorrow and I'll give you the information where you could call or go online to do the DTE application, okay?
All righty. Thank you so much, Brenda.
You are
Thank
so
you.
welcome. Now I'm really saying good night now. Good night.
Good night.
By the way, keep in mind everything from call to order to adjournment is public and it's recorded. Reminding. If you don't mind the numbers being out there, fine, but just letting.
It's okay. My number is public. You Google my name, my number will come up.
Mine too.
That's how I am too. I don't. It's like my information's all out there, but some people are going to be worried about.
I hate to tell you all this. All our information is out there. It's a site you can put your name in, and you can put up anything you want from the person.
Well, I'll tell you, every registered voter's address is on the registered voter list, which is available online.
Correct.
So that name and address is an easy one. Okay, so Danny, I guess you said everything you wanted to say about that, and I guess we're ready. If there's no more comments, then it's an adjournment.
All right, see you later.
I move for adjournment.
Okay, I second, though we did make that like the order of the day, but yeah, we're supposed to do it at the end, but 2 people had to leave, and so we don't have a quorum now anyway. Okay. So actually the meeting self-adjourned as soon as 1 person left.
Okay. Well,
but do you need to be that technical? Everyone, yes, Brenda?